Amen.
See, I was in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, about an 18-year-old, and I got saved real early. That's why I've been preaching almost 30 years now. I had a little sweetheart, and she broke my heart. She did. She dumped me, said, "Don't want you anymore," and I don't blame her. I dumped me too. Back then, because I was young and crazy. Lord have mercy, you don't get no sense till you get a little older. And I ain't saying you young girls ain't got no sense, but you start maturing as you get older. They say girls grow up faster than boys in their mind and stuff. I agree with it. Now you men don't get mad at me, but I know I was a man one time. No, I'm still a man. But see, that night, Brother Joe, I was crying, and part of it was because she broke up with me. I loved the girl. And maybe a week later, and I'm not proud of it, but I was going to high school, and there was a fight going on in the hallway, and I was trying to get through it so I could graduate and get to my classes. I was trying to get through the fight, and there's a big crowd you couldn't get through there. Man, they gather together for a fight. Why don't they gather together to fight the devil like that in church? Why won't we get to the house of God? You wouldn't have to worry about preaching to 3 people in a pew. It'd be full of people. But Brother Larry, Darrell, I went trying to get through that crowd, and all of a sudden this teacher grabbed me by the shoulder, and she jerked me around and kind of ripped my shoulder a little bit. And she said, "Get out of the way!" Real mean. And then all of a sudden, I was the sinner then. I cussed her all to pieces. Now, I don't tell you to do that, but I did. And that other teacher, she came along, she heard me cursing like that, and she grabbed me by the shoulder and jerked me, and she hauled off and smacked me with her hand, and her fingernail cut me right down through here. And I lost it. I blacked out. I don't even remember it. All I know, I laid in on her like a preacher eating a chicken bone or something. And I let in on her, Joe, and that man, by the time they pulled me off her, I don't even remember. I just remember I about beat her half to death. I think I about knocked her out and everything. I just flipped out. I lost it. And they took me to the office, and the assistant principal, or whatever he was, like a guard, he said, "Richard, shame on you hitting a girl." Man, I was still pretty bad. And I said, "I'd hit you too if you done me like she did." He said, "I'd like to see you do it." I said, "I would. You try it." I just lost it. But see what it is, sin was dragging me further than I wanted to go. And I was a good person. I was raised in the right way. Man, my dad whipped me, and he made sure you respected your elders. Amen. You didn't backtalk them. Right. Amen. And if he said the kids eat first, that was the way it was. If he said grown-ups eat first, that's the way it was. And I had great respect. And if I found $1 in the bathroom, I'd take it to the teacher. But I got to where I was wanting to steal. I didn't care for nothing anymore. I got to where I hated life. You're looking at me, what are you talking about? I'll get to you in a minute, sinner. But when that girl done that and that there, I thought I was going to jail. They said her husband was a monster of a man. That scared me because I probably weighed 130 pounds. He'll beat you to death when he catch you in the right place. And Lord, I was scared and thought I was going to jail for hitting a woman and everything else. But all that time, it was adding up to, I was seeing I needed the Lord. And brother, I went home that night, and I was just crying and didn't know why I was crying, and I was just rolled to bed all night and thought it was over that girl and thought it was over the jail thing. But all the time, brother, it was because the Lord was knocking on my heart. And he was saying, "I've got work for you to do. All you got to do is come to me." Amen. That night at the Church of God, my dad was out drinking, and that night when he come in, they was all day long, it was on my heart to get to church. I didn't even know why. I just wanted to go to church. He was, time I got to church, it was a little over an hour late. Church started at 6. I got there at 7. All the way there was a voice kept saying, "Don't you go to church. Church is over time you get there." I didn't know I was going to get saved. I just know I needed to get to God's house. Same way you are tonight.
Amen. That's right.
So when I got there, I sat in the back where my son is in a place in that Church of God. This man stood up and he told me everything about me. He told me the hurt that I was going through, the rejection of my family. See, I was homeless at 13-year-old. My dad run me off and said, don't you come back to our home. I slept in barns, abandoned trailers, everywhere I could sleep and get a bite to eat. But all that was adding up to see that I needed Jesus. So that night, that preacher told me, said, "Your family, you feel like they don't even love you." And that's what I felt like, because nobody seemed like they cared. I was out on the streets, out in the hollers. Family didn't care. That's why I felt. He said, "Let me point you to Jesus. Yes. He loves you. He died for you, and He wants to save you. Amen. There was a man sitting by me that I went to high school with. That was the first thing he said. If you get saved, he won't be your friend no more. I practically run over that fella. And I got to the altar and I knelt down like this right here. I said, Lord, I'm sorry. Come into my heart. Forgive me, Lord. I've sinned against you. Save my soul from hell. I come up with that night of shouting and of praising God. Amen. And that's been almost 30 years ago, and I'm still doing it today. I found something that I needed tonight. As they sang a song, you're lost. There's something that you're looking for. Amen. And it's not in an appeal. It's not in sexual relationship. It's not in a husband and wife or children. But it's in Jesus. Amen. Millionaires takes their life and dies and goes to hell. Rich people, famous people commit suicide. So money couldn't make them happy. They had all kinds of women, didn't make them happy. All kinds of men, it didn't make them happy. Only Jesus can fill that void in your heart. Church, you need to pray. I feel there's some people here tonight that's getting ready to make a decision. Now, it's either good or it's going to be a bad decision. It's a good decision if you come and pray. It's a bad decision if you walk out that door lost without God in your life, Brother Joe. I can guarantee you from this pulpit that you'll not regret coming to the Lord tonight if you'll come. That was the best decision that Richard Riffe made that day. That was a turnaround in my life, and I started on a journey. Not knowing that God was going to call me a preacher about a year later. And I've been doing it ever since, Brother Darrell. And I'll do it till the last breath leaves my body. I'll preach Jesus Christ and Him crucified and Him dying and rose from the dead and coming back after the blood-bought church. It's a calm assurance. I had a pastor, the same pastor I got saved in, worked as a nurse or whatever you call it in the hospital in Paintsville, Prestonburg. He had walked in a room, there was a 14-year-old girl. You said, wait a minute, that's awful young. You're the age of accountability when God knocks on your door. Some says 12, some says 11. It don't say it that way. It's when God touches your heart is when you're ready for heaven or hell. Church, you need to pray. I feel the Lord touching somebody. And Brother Joe, when he walked in there, he said, Cece, will you give your life to God? She said, no, preacher, I don't want nothing to do with God. 30 minutes later, he made his rounds. When he walked in the door, she said, preacher, my feet are burning. She said, please pray for me. She said, I feel the flames of hell. And she stood up like this, and she was dead. She fell over dead. Church, listen, don't wait till you go to hell and say, I want to repent. It's too late then. 30 minutes earlier, she could have been saved and made heaven her home. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know, He holds. Just hang on just a second, Larry. I've got two more things I'm going to say to you, and I'm going to come to a close, and then he's going to finish that song out. Hell is real, and it's just as real as heaven. Amen. But you got to choose what you're going to. Amen. There's a young lady here a while back in an altar call over in West Virginia. God was dealing with her heart so strong. Pastor talked to her, and she said, not now, maybe in the next service. She got in her car, and she hadn't been driving long. She went down the road, and her parents followed in their vehicle. And a truck hit her, I think head on. When they got to the wreck, there it was, engulfed in flames. She said, Mommy, Daddy prayed for me. They said, we can't help you, but please cry out to Jesus. She said, gee, I can't feel Him no more, Mommy. I turned Him away a while ago, and I can't feel Him no more. She died, far as I know, without God in her life. 30 minutes earlier, 15 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier, the preacher tried his best to get her saved like I'm doing you tonight. Amen. And she died without God, far as I know. 164. Parents come up on the wreck. The fire was in flames. They grabbed the door of the handle like this and trying to jerk it open, and it blistered their hands, and they had to stand back and watch their daughter cry and burn in that fire.
Amen. Praise God.
Now, whether she's saved or not, I don't know. But the point is, you don't want to burn in the fire.
No.
Do you, Joe?
No.
I don't want to go there. I walk by fire camps and cars burning. Man, it's so hot, it just seemed like it's melting my skin. And I jerked back and I thought, God, I don't want to be in that place.
Praise.
Christians, you ought to be crying your heart out for somebody that's lost tonight.
Amen.
It's your
Praise God. Praise the Lord.
And another guy from West Virginia just started his lifelong career as a young doctor. His Jeep fell over on him, wrecked, and it captured one of his legs up under the Jeep. And it caught a fire, and it was burning that leg. And the cops, the police officers and the people that come up on him, he begged that cop, he said, shoot me right here. Shoot me between the eyes. That fire's burning my leg. I can't stand the heat. The cop wouldn't do it because it's against the law. And there was nothing they can do for him. He even begged the people, said, cut my leg off with an axe. And we don't want to lose our legs, do we, Joe? But he was burning in the fire, his leg was, and he was burning up alive. And he died in that shape. Now, was he saved or not? I don't know. But I do know this. There is a place called hell.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go there.
That's right. Praise God.
Church, I preached and done the best that I could, and God's blessed in the power of God's come in here. Now it's time for you to make a decision. As he finishes singing this song, and then I'm going to shut up, I promise you. I don't want to get up here and lie and say I'm one of them that hushes and goes on, because I'm not that way. But when God tells me to shut up, you watch this old boy, he hits out the door. To the seat. But as he sings this song, go ahead and sing that song.
Jesus comes tomorrow.
Friend, would you come?
To spend some time with you.
This makes me 2 nights.
Would you answer
210-mile
all
drive.
his questions?
Did I come for your money? No. I know God would bless me. He always does. Did I come for your fame and wealth and to make you look at me and say, well, he's something? No. I come to see somebody saved.
And if Jesus comes,
yes, I come to encourage you, lift you up. And Dicey, I do that the best I can. But I come to see somebody saved.
Your number.
I don't know who you are, but you know who you are. And you need to come. Church, are you praying? Are you crying out for them that's lost? We get satisfied because we're saved. Shame on you. You ought to be crying out for the ones that saved, lost. Come on and pray. Pray while God's dealing with you. Because the Spirit of God will withdraw himself a little at a time if you don't want to. Eventually, he might walk completely out of your life. It's up to him. It's his choice. Somebody come and pray, would you? Man, I feel the Lord calling somebody. You don't want to go to hell. There's people right there right now, and people that's going there as a being screaming, please help me get out of this place. Help me, help me, help me. But it's too late when you take your last breath on this earth. Oh, to thank God for Jesus and his mercy. Because I don't deserve it, you don't deserve it, but he gives it to us anyway.
Are you ready to lay down?
Would you come? Would you come?
And walk away.
I preached my heart out to you tonight, and I want to see somebody saved, and I want to see somebody come up to the altar and get God to pull you out of fire and put you on a solid rock and give you a place, son, in heaven. And I want to go there, and I'm going there because Jesus said I could. And you know why, Cece? He sent his son to die for me. He sent his son to die for you. And you. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Would you come?
Take his hand. And Jesus,
Susie Hershey's, I'm giving it to her pastor. Man, I'll pray, Lord, someday he'll get me back here for a revival again or one night service. It don't make no difference to me. I'll preach